Perhaps the most counterintuitive truth of the universe is that the more you give to others, the more you'll get. Understanding that is the beginning of wisdom. Friends are better than money. Almost anything that money can do, friends can do better. In so many ways, a friend with a boat is better than owning a boat. This is true. It is hard to cheat an honest man. When an object is lost, 99% of the time it is hiding within arm's reach of where it was last seen. So, search in all possible locations in that radius and you'll find it. You are what you do, not what you say, not what you believe, not how you vote, but what you spend your time on. If you lose or forget to bring a cable and adapter or charger, check with your hotel. Most hotels have a drawer full of cables, adapters, and chargers that others have left behind, and probably have the one that you want if you can claim it after you borrow it. Hatred is a curse that does not affect the hated. It only affects the hater. So release a grudge as if it was poison. There is no limit on better. Talent is unevenly distributed. But there is no limit on how much we can do with what we start with. Be prepared. When you are 90% done any large project, like a house, a film, an event, an app, the rest of the myriad details will take a second 90% to complete. When you die, you take absolutely nothing with you except your reputation. Before you are old, attend as many funerals as you can bear and listen. Nobody talks about the departed's achievements. The only thing people mention is what kind of person you were while you were achieving. For every dollar you spend purchasing something substantial, expect to pay $1 in repairs, maintenance, or disposal by the end of its life. Anything real begins with a fiction of what it could be. Imagination, therefore, is the most potent force in the universe and a skill you can get better at. It's the one skill in life that benefits from ignoring what everybody else knows. When crisis and disaster strike, don't waste them. No problems, no progress. On vacation, go to the most remote place on your itinerary first, bypassing the cities. You'll maximize the shock of otherness in the remote, and then later you'll welcome the familiar comforts of a city on the way back. When you get an invitation to do something in the future, ask yourself, would I accept this if it was scheduled for tomorrow? Not too many promises will pass that immediacy filter. Don't say anything about someone in an email that you would not be comfortable saying to them directly, because eventually they will read it. If you desperately need a job, you are just another problem for a boss. But if you can solve many of the problems the boss has right now, you are hired. To be hired, think like your boss. Art is in what you leave out. Acquiring things will rarely bring you deep satisfaction, but acquiring experiences will. Rule of 7 in research. You can find out almost anything if you're willing to go 7 levels. If the first source you ask doesn't know, then you ask them who you should ask next, and so on, down the line. If you're willing to do that to the 7th source, you will almost always get your answer. How to apologize. Quickly, specifically, sincerely. Don't ever respond to a solicitation or proposal on the phone. The urgency is a disguise. When someone is nasty, or rude, or hateful, or mean with you, pretend that they have a disease. That makes it easier to have empathy towards them, which can often soften the conflict. Eliminating clutter makes room for your true treasures. You don't really want to be famous. Read the biography of any famous person. Experience is overrated. When hiring, hire for aptitude, train for skills. Most really amazing or great things have been done by people doing them for the very first time. A vacation plus a disaster equals an adventure. Buying tools? Start with buying the absolute cheapest tools you can find. Upgrade the ones that you use a lot. If you wind up using something as a tool for a job, buy the very best you can afford. Learn how to take a 20-minute power nap without embarrassment. Following your bliss is a recipe for paralysis if you don't know what you are passionate about. A better motto for most youth is to master something. Anything. Through mastery of one thing you can drift towards extensions of that mastery that bring you more joy, and eventually you'll discover where your bliss is. I'm positive that in 100 years much of what I take to be true today will be proved to be wrong. Maybe even embarrassingly wrong. And I try really hard to identify what it is that I am wrong about today. Over the long term, the future is decided by optimists. To be an optimist, you don't have to ignore the many problems we create. You have to imagine improving our capacity to solve those problems. The universe is conspiring behind your back to make you a success. This would be much easier to do if you embrace this paranoia.